Hey crafters, I just got in the mail this set of 30 gel pens, the Cricut brand pens. I'm super excited because I've only played with my pens a little bit. I have the black fine point that came with my machine and then some gold tip pens that were part of my everything bundle. So now I've got 30 different pens that I get to try out. I'm really excited to do some fun projects with these. I've got plans to do some stickers and some fun little cue cards that I'll link to below once I get to them. And yeah, I just really wanted to show them to you, and we'll do a couple fun test projects right now with them and see what all the different colors look like. So we're going to start off by opening up our box of pens. Like, look at all those pretty colors in there. We'll get this opened up here. Here's the thing. Use my trusty craft knife. There we go. And let's have a look. So I'm just going to do a basic project in Design Space where I'm going to test out all the different colors that I got so I can have a great reference for how they all look, and I can also show you guys what these 1mm gel pens, what this 1mm gel pen set looks like. I'm just going to add some text, and I'm going to title each of these the name on the pen. So the first one I have here is Merlot, and I'm going to change this to a nice writing font, something not too crazy, just so we can really get a feel for the colors and not be distracted by fancy fonts. So I'm just going to go to my filters over here and select writing. We're going to just pick one. I'm going to go with this Rob and Bob Ping Pong. It's part of my Cricut Access subscription. I don't have to pay anything extra, so we're going to go with that guy. What else I'm going to do though is I want this all to fit on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I'm just going to add a square, and just to give myself an idea of how these are all going to fit. 8.5 by 11. And make it white and send to back. Now my Merlot is going to need to be a bit smaller. I'm just going to drag this down so I can see it better. One thing that drives me nuts when I'm working with fonts is this drop down here, because you can see without it I can see my 0 position here, but with it I get like half an inch down, so it's really quite frustrating to work with. So we're going to make this a bit smaller, and we might have to tweak it later on. Next thing I'm going to do is go up to this basic cut and change it to pen, and my style I'm going to change it to a writing. Okay. So yeah, we want to make sure it's in the writing style. If I click this little box, I can change which pen it's going to use. So I'm going to go to Gel Pen, and unfortunately here it does not, and I don't know why they haven't updated this, but they do not show all the colors that Cricut offers. So I've bought the actual Cricut brand gel pens, and obviously they have at least 30 different colors, and they do not have that many in the gel pen section. In the extra fine point though, they've got quite a few different ones, and the fine point they have a lot as well. So I'm going to just make a note on my own about what color I'm selecting in here so that I know when I go to print it when I go to have my machine write it, that I'm actually inserting the correct pen, and that, you know, when I'm having it write Merlot, that it means Merlot, not burnt red or something like that. So I'm going to call this one wine because that's pretty simple. And I'm just going to make a note of it on a physical piece of paper so that when the time comes, I know which one is which. So on my sheet of paper, I'm going to write Merlot equals wine 0.3 size. So you can see if I click on it, oh, sorry, it's actually in the fine point. So I'm just going to continue through all of my pens doing this. Duplicate. Type in burnt red. And I do want to make sure that I've changed all these so that when I go to actually write it, that my Cricut does prompt me to change my pen. So one thing that I just found as I was looking at this is the infusible ink pens have similar names. So they still are under the fine point 0.4 mil, which my pens are obviously not. They're 1 millimeter gel pen. But if I use the infusible ink pen name, then I have a burnt red, and burnt red will come up requesting it. So that'll keep things a little less confusing for me down the line when I go to write these. So I'm going to go ahead and use these infusible ink colors instead. And hopefully that keeps me a little bit more organized. So like Party Pink is its name. You can see there's no Party Pink under fine point. If I go all the way down here, I see Party Pink. Perfect. So we're going to use those. So in my design here, I'm going to hide or delete my background image. That was just so I could get them all fitting onto one 8.5 by 11 sheet. And I'm going to zoom out here so I can see all my pieces because I need to attach them. Otherwise, they will not write where I want them to. Hit attach. And we're going to go and make it. While that is loading, I'm going to get my cardstock set up on my standard grip mat. This is just some inexpensive, lightweight cardstock I picked up at Michael's. It's great for just any kind of project where you need something with a little bit of weight to it, but not a lot. I'm going to actually line this up on the 1-inch mark so that I know where my pens are going to start drying. This is the prettiest of the sheets. Looks like I might have some marks on it already, but it's good enough for what we're doing. Design Space is still loading. I'm just going to get this ready to go. And Design Space will tell me which which pen I want to use first. The other thing I want to do each time before I use a pen is just test it out on some scrap paper to make sure that it's working properly. Especially when the pens are brand new, because they need to be less primed a little bit. That one is already ready to go. All right, so we lined up our sheet on the 1-inch line. So I'm going to take these guys and move them. That's not going to quite work. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to have to actually change where I put my mat a little bit. Not a whole lot, but as you can see, I'm a little bit over my 1-inch mark there. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to connect up to my maker. And my base material is light cardstock. And so here it's going to tell me everything that is coming up. And it might actually write things in the way that we think it's going to, but that's not a guarantee. So it's telling me to load my wine 0.4 pen into clamp A, but instead I'm loading my Merlot gel pen 1.0. And so I load it in, and we'll get another angle of this shot. You can see the arrow here. We're just going to push it in, so it clicks, and we don't see the indicator anymore, and close it up. So to insert a pen, we're going to open clamp A. We're going to take our pen, remove the lid, stick the lid on the bottom, and we're going to just support the bottom of the carriage with a finger. And with the arrow pointed towards us, we're going to insert it and push it down till it clicks, and we no longer see the arrow. Close up clamp A, and we're ready to go. I have had it before where I've not had them quite inserted properly, where it's been more like that, and it doesn't work properly. It won't write. There is a bit of a caveat to this though. Certain pens, and I noticed this when I was inserting my flamingo pen, is it doesn't actually quite go all the way in. Still writes fine, but this is just showing the arrow a little bit. I was concerned it wasn't going to write properly, but it did, so it could just be a little bit of a misprinting on the side of the pen. Just remember, always put your caps back on when you're done. And most people like to, when they're writing, put the pen cap lid on top so you don't accidentally misplace it. I'm going to load my page. And I'm going to press go. This is going to be a little bit of a time-consuming project because I have to change my pen 30 times. Now it's telling me, oh, see, I had no idea where we were going to go. So now we're going to deep teal. So I'm going to find in here deep teal, which I believe is this one, bright teal. Deep teal. So, like I said, I had no idea which one it wanted next, and that's why I've made a note to myself what is what. So this one is actually called deep teal, but again, my machine is asking for the 0.4 infusible ink that I set it to. It doesn't really matter, they all write the same to the Cricut. Put that in and press go. Next, we're going to turquoise. And for you guys, I'm going to end up speeding this up. But here, just as an example, I've written down bright teal equals turquoise for the 0.4 fine tip, which is what this is asking for. And if you notice on my writing there, my writing is not pretty. And that is one of the reasons why I love the writing with Cricut, because now I can address cards so they look beautiful and not have my chicken scratch writing. And for you guys, I'm going to speed this up and jump to the end, and I'll have to slowly go through my changing out of my 30 different pens. So it's finally finished. It only took like 35 minutes to do. So let's eject our mat. And those are looking awesome. So I'll get this off the mat and we'll have a good close-up of it. So here we can see all the different colors. I was trying to make them in a, rainbow order, and I obviously messed up a little bit with cardinal red down here. I obviously got confused while doing 30 different pens, but I will say it was a really good idea to have these all written out like this, because this is something blue. When I look at it compared to the ink on the pen, the paper, quite a bit different looking. So now I've got a really great reference for what the different colors actually look like on a piece of white cardstock. So this was a great little test project to do with my new Cricut pens. I bought the gel pen set made by Cricut. They're a 1.0 millimeter pen, and they just write so pretty. I'm going to probably just cut this up a little bit and keep it in my box so that I can always reference it when I want to do any more writing projects in the future. And there's definitely going to be lots more to come, because just how pretty are these? But I will put in the description box below a link to this project in Design Space. And then that's much easier for you. Instead of taking all that time to write these out, you can just use my project and print out or write out all the different colors for your own reference. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, and let me know in the comments if you've tried other pens other than Cricut, or what your favorite pens are.